Good evening. Thank you for joining me. My name is Patricia Harris. I'm a student at Tarleton State University with the social work program. New York.
Cindy Cortez.
Kristen Lee.
Daniel Harris.
Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I wanted to tell y'all what we're doing today. I'm going to educate y'all and help y'all implement a plan on anger management within your own lives. Before we start, I want to go ahead and go over confidentiality with all of y'all. I want to let y'all know anything that y'all say here stays here unless y'all give me permission to talk about it with anyone else. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. I will let you know anger is an emotional state that varies in intensity from mild irritation to intense fury and rage. This is according to Charles Spielberger, PhD, a psychologist who specializes in the study of anger. Okay. Do y'all have any thoughts about anger before we start? Can y'all tell me anything?
Sometimes Kristen makes me angry.
You make me angry.
Okay, guys. So obviously y'all know each other. Everyone knows each other here. Let's go ahead and start. I will let you know anger is a normal, healthy emotion, but when chronic, explosive anger spirals out of control, it can have serious consequences for your relationship, your health, and your state of mind. The emotion of anger is neither good nor bad. That's all we're talking about. It's perfectly healthy and normal to feel angry when you've been mistreated or wronged. The feeling isn't the problem. It's what you do with it that makes a difference. Anger becomes a problem when it harms you or other people. Okay? That's just how we're going to start the session. I will let you know, right now we have about 30 minutes that we're going to be talking about our anger management. I'm going to go ahead and ask y'all a few questions. I want to start off, and I want each of y'all to answer my questions. You can say whatever you'd like. It's fine. The first question is, can you tell me any time in a work environment that you have lost your temper? Let's start with you if you'd like.
When someone doesn't do their job.
Can you tell me more about that?
Okay, so you ask someone to do something for you, and you do it, or they don't do it, but they ask you for something, and you do it.
Kristen, can you elaborate on that?
Someone, you do something for somebody, but they don't do it back for you. That's what I meant. So that makes me really angry because I feel like they should do something. It's a give and take, is what it is. So.
And, can you give me an example of a situation like this?
Feel free to use names.
At work, a certain person, never helps anybody out, but everybody does his work for him. And he never says thank you and always is rude to everybody else. That makes me really angry. However, I try to control my anger while on the shift. I explode later though.
And is it hard for you to control your anger?
Yes. A lot. A lot.
Well, that's why we're going over anger management.
Gotta keep that all in there.
And can you tell me about a time, Cindy, that you have felt you've lost your temper in a work environment?
Yeah, when there's bullshitters. People that will say something and not follow through. People that will manipulate situations to cover themselves, not to get in trouble with anybody else, but just not do their job in general. Knowing what needs to be done and still not doing it.
And can you give me an example of that, Cindy?
Yes, specifically today. We have a list that we go by every night. Everyone knows these lists. They read them. We think that they should know, but they know. There's certain items on this list that needs to be done, and they will find a way to manipulate the situation so they don't have to do that specific thing on the list. Just don't do all of that. 'Cause I do my job. I go above and beyond. I have high standards. So I don't think.
I'm sensing a lot of anger and hostility right now. Do you usually feel this way after work?
Towards this specific person, yes.
And how have you handled that situation with them?
I don't put up with it.
You avoid the situation?
No, I confront him, and sometimes it's good, sometimes not good. However, if I don't bring it to his attention much, and I feel that he'll never be able to improve if I don't say, hey, this needs to be done this specific way, then he would never have the opportunity to be a better person. If he chooses not to do it at that point in time, that's on him.
And Daniel, can you tell me about a time in your work environment that you've lost your temper or felt like your emotions have risen in any way?
Yeah, usually when, kind of similar to what Kristen said, if someone is supposed to do something and they don't do it, or they try and get out of doing it, and then expect me to do a favor for them, even though I had to pick up their slack, that kind of thing usually pisses me off. I've had people expect that I would, say, work overtime for them because they had something going on in the morning or that night or whatever. And if I'd go ahead and work for them, and then say a week or a month or so later, and I have to work over, but I have something I need to do the next day, and I ask them, they say no. I don't feel like it. I just feel like that's not really fair.
This angers you?
Yeah.
Okay. And guys, can you go ahead and tell me about a situation in which you saw other people in your work environment get angry, and how does that make you feel? I'll start with you again, Kristen.
It unsettles me. I guess when people get super stressed out, you ask them for something, or you tell them to do something, or whatever the situation is, and they get angry with you, and you're just doing your job. It makes you uncomfortable, and it makes you just not want to be around that person. You're kind of like scared that they're going to explode on you for just no reason, So I guess that would be my feeling on that.
Anthony?
So, even though you try to help people, you even offer, like, can I specifically help you because you see that they're in this stressful environment. Some people are so prideful, they refuse to accept your help from you because they're upset with you. This happened to me often tonight. I would try to help someone, and they were upset with me about something that happened the previous day, and no matter what I did, it didn't matter. I mean, I could have worked my butt off and helped them out the whole entire time, never once thanked me or anything.
Are you frustrated?
Because it frustrates not only, like, he's frustrated, and it frustrates me because I want to help him, and then I'm not getting acknowledged, but also, like, people around him can feel that. That's something, it's like a vibe you get off to people, and it's uncomfortable.
And for you, Daniel?
So, time I've seen someone else get angry. Recently, I saw, for one of our pre-job briefings, our supervisor got pretty angry. It was just a bunch of little things. He said that it kind of irked him and built up over a period of time, and he finally, I guess he got started, talking about some of them, and then just sort of worked himself up. And he was really angry, like almost shouting. And I agreed with a lot of what he had to say, but the way he was going about saying it kind of put me on the defensive. That sort of, like, I felt like I was getting in trouble for something that I hadn't even done. And it seemed like a lot of the other people around me felt the same way. And I don't like confrontation anyways, so people yelling makes me uncomfortable. So I think he could handle that a little differently. I mean, I get being angry, but I don't know, the way he did it kind of...
Unprofessional.
Yeah, well, the way he did it, I don't think the people he was talking about, the people that were doing the little things that made him angry in the first place, I don't think they would have responded to it. They wouldn't take the time to think, oh, okay, yeah, I should work on this or whatever. I think it was kind of counterproductive. I think people...
because you get defensive and you're like, well, I didn't do that. And then you get angry. It's like a spreading emotion. You can spread anger everywhere. I mean, someone being angry to you makes you angry, that they're angry at you, and then it's just a big anger fest, and everybody's angry.
It just wasn't helpful.
It's not productive,
And now that y'all know how other people make you feel whenever they're angry, does that make you less inclined to show that you're angry at work?
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes you think, but anger is more of a spontaneous emotion. It's harder to control than it is just to love people and be happy, because being happy is easy. Being angry is the hard part, you know. And it's hard to not be angry because certain people have certain preferences about certain things, and they want certain things to be done, and then certain people don't want things to be done, and you know, it's hard to please everybody though, you know, and people get angry about little things sometimes, or they'll be working something up all week, and then you do one little thing, like my dad, that's how my dad is, you know, one little thing will make him explode, and it doesn't even have to be a big thing. It's, you know, a tiny little thing, and you're like, oh shit, this is not good. Out of the line of fire right now. Go to my room.
Okay, guys. My next question is, can you tell me about a time that you lost your temper towards a family member? And it's easy to get angrier at people that are close to you. So it tends to happen a lot more than with friends. I'll start with you.
My brother. Perfect example. Oh, he makes me angry all the time. But I think my anger comes from I'm more defensive because of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he talks to my mother and my father really pisses me off. Because, I mean, he's given everything, and he just shits on him pretty much, and that makes me really angry to watch and have them be so hurt over it.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely makes me angry, and I want to strangle him. But I keep myself back. He's alive. He's still living. Just want to put that on the record there, you know. But that makes me
was
angry.
missing.
He was missing? Don't come to me. Don't do it.
Yeah, for you, Cindy.
Actually, something happened today, and so I have a little one, and my stepmom, I will talk to her and communicate with her, like, hey, on this day at this hour, I'm going to drop her off. Is this okay with you? And she'll agree, and she'll be nice. And then 30 minutes before she's supposed to take care of my child, she's like, oh, hey, I'm sorry. Can you change the time or the day? And I'm like, I gotta go to work in 30 minutes, and I've called everybody in the world, and you agreed to do this for me, so I'm kind of confused and baffled, and I don't want to be mad at you, but this last-minute communication thing doesn't work for me and my job and my little one. Like, we need consistent stability for someone to be there. I don't trust just anybody with my child, so that's another thing. I don't want to go on Facebook and be like, hi, can anybody take care of my, I don't want any, like, pedophilers coming in, oh, we don't take care of your kid. You know, so it's frustrating. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate miscommunication. I hate when someone says they're gonna, yes, I will do this, and then, oh, just kidding. 30 minutes while you're supposed to be doing your hair and makeup, don't do your hair and makeup, make phone calls. So I go to work looking like this. And then Kristen was like, what happened to you? And it makes me angry.
There's something wrong.
Do you know? Can you tell me about a time that you've lost your temper with your family member?
Not anytime recently. I used to, when I was younger, get into fights a lot with my brother. That was over like the usual kid shit, you know, fighting over the same toy or whatever, you know, just dumb things. The rest of my family I usually get along pretty well with, you know, grandparents, father, mom, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, not really.
And since it is easier to be angry with your family, how does that make y'all feel? Do y'all feel guilty? Or what feelings does that give you?
Well, like I said, for me, I was a kid. I don't really feel guilty about it because, I mean, you know, everyone that has siblings, I would figure, you know, has fought with them rather, you know, as children. So, I mean, that seemed kind of normal.
I don't feel guilty, but I still expect certain things from my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess maybe if I hit him or something, I'd probably feel a little guilty.
So you're
Okay, maybe I do feel a little bit guilty because, you know, I was pretty tough with him when we were kids. I think actually one time he got under the truck tires and was like, just run over me. But I think he was kidding, I don't know.
You didn't run over him.
I almost did. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. I was like, get out from under there. Stop getting, what are you doing?
So you're saying it's easier to stay angry with your family members without having emotion because they're so close.
I think it's easier to
Say
stay angry at them.
I mean, I do feel guilty. Like, even today, the argument I had, I love my stepmom, and I never try to take for granted for someone taking care of my child, ever. And so, a part of me is like, oh, man, I wish I could understand, like, how she feels or what she's going through, maybe put in her shoes. I mean, she already has kids, and my dad is not the easiest person to get along with, so I can only imagine what's on her plate, but at the same time, I gotta provide for my little one and myself, so it's a struggle to...
So you empathize more with your
yeah,
family.
I do.
Okay. I feel guilty for so long.
Certain family members.
2 seconds later, I'd be like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, Mom. I did not mean to yell at you.
Okay, guys. Can you tell me about a time someone around you lost their temper? Are there any warning signs or triggers that make you lose your temper? Like that you know you're about to get loud, you're about to make everyone uncomfortable around you. What are those triggers?
That's a hard question, I guess, because you can't really see yourself. And most people obviously don't know their limit, because if they did, they wouldn't just explode.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I kind of get it from my dad, but I explode.
Mm-hmm.
I pin up so much anger for a certain amount of time, and then, like my dad, one little thing, and I'm just, you get out of my way. But I have not done that in a long, long time. I do get angry, and I do kind of spurt out a little bit, but I try not to do it in front of that person that I am angry with. I try not to, for the most part. And, I'm still working on it, but it's just something you have to work on.
Usually I get really, really quiet. Like, if I'm really quiet and kept to myself, or I won't give that person eye contact, that's when I'm about to, like, is it game over? You're going to leave me alone? I need to step away. If they continue to pursue an argument or won't let me step away and calm down, then I will tell them, maybe in not the nicest way, and certain tones are going to be used to make my point across. Don't mess with me. Don't do this. This is not to be tolerated from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, usually I'm red in the face. Sometimes I could be even crying out of anger. But I'm a girl, so that's loud. Or I think it is, because I'm a girl.
Oh, it's allowed. We're allowing it.
What about you, Daniel? Any warning signs or triggers that you're about to lose your temper?
I don't know, I try not to lose my temper. Or if I get angry, but I try not to lose control. It doesn't really seem to help much, if you get really, really angry with someone, or at least to, explode and let it out like that. I don't know, bigotry kind of pisses me off. Some of the people I work with will say things sometimes, and usually that'll just set me off. But I try and not blow up on them. I try and explain things to them. That doesn't always work. But usually if that happens, I just sort of step away and let it cool off. A lot of times I'll say shit that'll probably get me fired if I didn't. So.
Mm-hmm.
But warning signs. No, not really. I just get louder and more argumentative.
Yeah.
I think that's healthier though, because if I hear the tones and I'm like, oh, this person's frustrated, I should just kind of back off.
Yeah, like if I'm angry, you're gonna know I'm angry. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I'll try and step away, and I won't try and continue. Like I want to try and diffuse
Versus
the
me,
situation,
like,
or
shut down. You just
Yeah, or shut down or something, but don't say something I can't take back. You know, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's my big thing is I so worry about maybe possibly even saying something not only that I don't mean, that I regret.
Yeah, like
Absolutely. If I have nothing nice to say, then nothing at all is going to be said. So for a long time, you may not hear anything from me because I have nothing nice to say.
So guys, can you tell me any myths about anger that you've heard?
Myths.
Mm-hmm.
Heard of
I haven't, yeah. I mean, I guess that anger is easy to expel or get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. I don't think that's true, but maybe for some people, maybe they can, I don't know. I still think they get angry, I just think they handle it in a different way, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's a myth that people can just get rid of anger.
you
You know,
can't
like the
just,
whole Zen thing, you know, like I don't think that's actually true. I think they're still pinning it up,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more like that's just how they handle anger. Just like kind of
like
Cindy
they're
said,
sort of working their way through it.
by themselves, you
But
know,
yeah, because
inside.
you can't just
You can't
walk
just
it
get
off.
rid
You
of
can't
anger.
just say, well,
Yeah.
I'm not
Exactly.
angry.
And I mean, and the reason I say that is because, you know, people, they might say that they don't hold grudges, but people hold grudges.
Okay.
I mean, and that's anger. You're pinning up that same anger forever,
It's like
pretty
refusing
much.
to let go of that anger.
Exactly, but it's hard.
But then
It's hard
refusing-
to. You can't.
Refusing to admit that they're angry too.
Yes, exactly.
And I hate
Because you're like,
it, but I
I'm
do
not
it. I do it. I hate when other people don't like. Will you just forgive me already? I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. You know, and I'm still like. But when they do it to me, like I'm not gonna forgive you ever. Okay, don't ever look at me. You know, it happens.
So these are the myths you've heard.
Yeah.
I have a few facts that we can talk about. Out of control anger hurts your physical health. You've heard that before?
Out of control as in what?
Anger just being out of control all the time.
Breaking things. Not that
Okay,
I know
yes,
what
Like
that's.
elevated blood
Like-
pressure.
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Stress. Okay.
Stress is you put stress on your body. Constantly operating at high levels of stress and tension is bad for your health. Chronic anger makes you more susceptible to heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol levels, a weakened immune system, and insomnia and high blood pressure.
Gosh, that makes sense. Not for me, but somebody else.
I fix myself.
I also have out of control anger hurts your mental health. It consumes huge amounts of mental energy and clouds your thinking, making it harder to concentrate, see the bigger picture, and enjoy life. It can lead to stress, depression, and other mental health issues. Does that pertain to some people y'all know?
Yeah, but you know what? Even me, like I said, I'm guilty of it, that I might even hold grudges. I recently, finally, for the longest time I've been wanting to do this, I never did. I finally put myself into the gym. I feel like that alone has helped me, like,
To work it out sometimes.
yeah, I don't
Gym
know
is
what
like
it
the
is.
perfect anger. I mean, that's what I do. I do something active.
Yeah.
Like for cheerleading, that was one of my big things. Is whenever I was angry, it just pushed me harder. It made me do things harder and made me, you know, run.
And when you're
I would-
younger, you have that opportunity of
Exactly.
being in sports or being, like I used to be in track and cross country, and it's great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you get out of school and you're like, I'm not running.
Sit
Yeah.
on the couch all day.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Netflix, what's on Netflix? Oh, Friends, I love you.
So
But-
that's great for your health wise.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Mental health.
Yeah, you can definitely turn it into something constructive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which is
so-
where it's good.
Yeah.
Which is where anger is good.
So guys, the next one is out of control anger hurts your career. We've already talked about losing your career or losing your temper at work and how people around you. So now we know that it could hurt you if you're angry enough.
Yeah,
People
that
around
person
you.
that we were talking about at work, I feel that person has burnt every bridge of communication and or like lifeline that they could have had
Mhm.
with people supporting them and being behind them even when they're falling or failing. They've just burned all those.
Mhm.
And
Well,
I
I
feel
mean-
like that's because of their temper,
Mhm.
because of their poor attitude. I mean, nobody wants to help them, nobody likes them, nobody wants them around because they're so negative all the time. They can't handle stress. When they are stressed, they behave certain ways and they explode, and it's just something we get tired of dealing with every day.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just, what you said about the job thing, it hurts your job because if someone is angry with you or hates you for instance, a manager or the boss or the boss's wife, you aren't going to be there that long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for instance, at work, a girl that just got hired as a new position and someone did not like her, was angry with something that they thought she had said, but they just didn't care because they were angry and didn't want to hear the actual true story. So, anger can affect not only you, and you don't even have to get angry. It could just be someone angry with you in a higher position that can get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think is completely right. However, it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we've given a lot of examples of how anger can hurt your relationships, your career,
Even
hurt
prior
yourself.
to that, we had a manager who did the same thing, had a poor attitude, was negative all the time, was always exploding on different people, being
yeah.
vindictive. I mean, you name it, that was that person, and they pretty much had to let that person go because they couldn't handle the turmoil that it caused within the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or, someone who gets angry and they lose their temper, they say something that they can't take back. I mean, once you say it, it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what you say and the environment of the workplace you're in, you could get fired for it,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. People being disrespectful to each other, cursing at each other,
Mhm.
fired instantly, get out.
Okay, well, the point of this session is to learn how to suppress your anger and convert it into a more constructive behavior. By doing that, I've gone to the Mayo Clinic, which they give 10 tips for maintaining your temper. First one is think before you speak. Nice. Sounds great. Once you're calm, express your anger. Do y'all usually do that? Or do y'all just express it when you're
I
angry?
mean, it'll take me a while. It doesn't happen like in a minute or two. It happens usually like within 24 to 48 hours. I have to calmly think about what I can say and be constructive in a positive way versus just
That was new temper again.
yeah,
Mhm.
without reliving that moment of why you got so angry.
Yeah, that's a hard thing for me. I can't say that I can do that just because even when I'm calmed down and say I'm talking calmly, I eventually get to that point where I'm angry again because I'm talking about something that made me very angry. So it's just like a really bad cycle. I can never get calm when I'm angry about something. Even if I get calm eventually, if someone brings up that situation again, I get pissed off. I don't want to talk about it. It's done. It's in the past. It's kind of where I want to put it, but I don't know. It's a hard thing for me to get rid of anger.
Well, the next one is get some exercise. And Cindy already said that,
It's
you get out and get
amazing.
exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do I feel like not that I need more energy, I have more energy now that I'm going to the gym, but I feel amazing about myself when I see the progress in my body and everything just feels so much better. Everything fits better. It's pretty awesome.
Okay. And the next one is take a time out. That's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you need time to take a time out.
Exactly. Especially when you're at work.
In the middle of a run.
Yeah.
You can't always take
I
time
need
away
to
from
take a time out, you guys.
Can you
I'll be
please
in the
go
back.
run my food to my table? And my drinks. And my bread. Thank you.
Did you check if that's still running? I just thought of that.
The fifth one is identify possible solutions. What do y'all think that means?
Present solutions in, let's just say, high stress scenarios.
Well, try and work out with whatever's making you mad, or whoever, usually seems to be the case. Try and work out why and how you can do better. I mean, that's hard to do when you're angry, but I guess like the previous ones, take a time out.
But you also know that person's going to make you angry. So you should think about what you can do, how you can talk to them before they make you angry again. So that's it.
I like to think of everything they could possibly say so that I can present a solution to that complaint and or problem that they're bringing to me.
That must drive you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
No, with certain people it actually is so productive because
Yeah.
then you're like, well, see, however, if you'd have done this way, then maybe this would have prevented you to do this a certain way or to get high stress. If you carried a large tray and carried more items and you wouldn't have to run 10 times back and forth from the floor to the kitchen end, or if you try to take the bread, the waters, and your cocktail drinks all at the same time, you wouldn't have versus just running 2 items in your hand. You know, those are being more efficient in your work. I don't know, that's how I think of things.
The next one is to avoid criticizing or placing blame.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a little hard. You know, it might only increase tension, but using I statements to describe the problem usually helps it.
How do you mean? Like,
I feel that when you do things like this,
So
it makes
instead
me
of-
angry.
so instead of just accusing someone that you're doing this and
Mhm.
it makes me angry, if you say, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
that tends to help.
Mm-hmm. The next one is don't hold a grudge.
Everybody's
I'm
Looking
like,
at everybody.
YMCA.
Okay, 8th one, use humor to release tension, which y'all seem to be really good at doing.
We're pretty funny.
No, we are.
We're pretty amazing people.
Okay, 9th one, practice relaxation skills. How do y'all, or what are some skills that you use to relax?
Yoga.
Yoga.
Yoga just makes me angry.
Please.
I would like to tell you that I feel that yoga
Those are no skills. So
Yeah.
Working out actually makes me relax. It's surprising, but you would think it would pump you up, get you.
Or painting.
Get you
Painting's fun. Eating. Oh, I love to eat.
That's not
Eating-
relaxing to me, but
Eating's good.
he's like.
I like to
"Yes."
comfort eat. No, but
Big tub of ice cream.
yeah, me and Ben and Jerry's. But breathing exercises,
Oh yeah.
you know, breathe slow, breathe deep, think about, I don't know, something nice, laying in bed, kitty cats, whatever.
Dolphins.
Oh,
I do too. I like that picture you drew.
thank you.
And the last one is know when to seek help. It's important to talk to others about your feelings instead of bottling them up. So after hearing all this, we're going to go ahead and try and implement plans within our own life to maintain anger. How would each of y'all start planning that?
I guess you would evaluate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said earlier, I couldn't pick out when my anger was about to be exploding or coming out. So I guess I would think about me and how I react when I start getting to that point of anger, and stop and think, okay, I'm about to get angry. What are the signs? What can I do to avoid this? Can I do this, or should I do that, or kind of think of different scenarios of different ways to go and think ahead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and not
So
just,
if I do this, this is going to happen. If I do this, this is going to happen. So
and not just avoid it, because I mean, sometimes you can't, like
You can't
family
avoid
or
it.
people you have to interact with, and people tend to push your buttons. I mean, like, especially
Oh, yeah.
family members or just people you work with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think, like she said,
It's
kind of
push
plan
through
ahead and finding a way to express your anger without,
being angry. I mean, really being like,
well, yeah, but just
Getting
in
louder.
a productive way instead of
Yes.
just being angry and saying hurtful things or
because that's what we do with anger.
getting into a
We
fist
try to-
fight or.
Yeah.
And from y'all, I've heard a lot of hostility about your work. What do y'all plan on doing about that?
I think I'm gonna try to actually be the first to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't hold anybody accountable for my own emotions, and I cannot hold anybody accountable for the buttons that are created in my mind. Let's just say that I said someone pushed my button by doing this. Well, I created that button. That was my, I hate when people do this. Maybe I should reflect on what really bothers me and why that bothers me, and instead of letting it bother me, find different scenarios and or solutions to dealing with that specific person. Everybody's different, and there's got to be a more creative and productive way to deal with that specific person. So just kind of challenge myself in that way. And
How
then
will it
say,
make you feel?
well, then once I'll let go of that grudge and that anger, then I know that I've done my part. I've said and apologized and done, okay, I'm sorry, I did not mean to hold on to this anger. I'm choosing to let it go, and I'm going to move forward in a positive way. I hope that you can do that with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end our session here. I'm going to go ahead and follow up. If y'all need any advice or help talking about anger management, feel free to contact me at any time. How did y'all feel the session went?
Very good.
Good, it was informative.
It was very informative.
You don't
I
feel
didn't
like
think
that.
I was gonna learn anything, but I did. I was almost sure I was
She's
gonna
such
get
a
angry.
good girl.
Okay, guys. So I will talk to y'all next time.
You know, have my wife go through this.